Madam, there is something you are missing. I am gonna tell them.
The church auditorium overflowed with warmth, laughter, and worship music. And right in the middle of it all, Naomi smiled like a woman who had everything together. "Naomi, thank God you're here." Someone handed her a stack of papers. Another person stopped her near the hallway. "Please help us after service." "Naomi, can you pray with me later?" "Naomi, the children's class needs help." "Naomi. Naomi. Naomi." Everyone needed something from her. And Naomi never said no. Not once. Because somewhere along the way, being needed became the only thing that made her feel valuable. But as she smiled at another church member, something strange happened. For a brief second, her smile disappeared. Just for a second. And nobody noticed. Not one person. Service ended almost 3 hours later. The church parking lot slowly emptied while Naomi sat alone inside her car. Silent. Still holding her car keys. Not starting the engine. Not touching her phone. Just staring ahead blankly. Like someone emotionally stranded inside her own life. Then her phone buzzed. "Mom, are you bringing food home?" Another message appeared instantly. "Don't forget Dad's medication." Then another. Her younger sister. "Please send the money if possible." Naomi closed her eyes slowly. Her chest suddenly felt heavy. Very heavy. Then one final message arrived. Her husband. "You forgot to iron my shirt." Naomi stared at the screen for a long moment. Then quietly whispered, "I'm trying." But nobody was there to hear it. Rain fell softly outside the kitchen window that night. Naomi reheated food while the microwave light illuminated the exhaustion on her face. Her husband sat in the living room scrolling through his phone. "Food's ready," she said gently. He barely looked up. Naomi sat across from him quietly while he ate. Then casually he said, "You've been forgetting things lately." The words pierced deeper than he intended. Because secretly, Naomi had started forgetting everything. Appointments. Conversations. Laundry. Even herself. "You should rest more," he added. Naomi almost laughed. Rest? How? Who would carry everyone if she stopped? Who would help everybody? Who would keep everything together? Suddenly her phone buzzed again. Church notifications. Prayer requests. Needs. Responsibilities. Naomi stared at the screen. Then something unusual happened. For the first time in years, she didn't answer immediately. And somehow, that alone made her feel guilty. The house slept peacefully. But Naomi sat awake on the bathroom floor in darkness. Silent tears rolled slowly down her face. Not loud crying. Just quiet exhaustion. The dangerous kind. The kind nobody notices until it becomes unbearable. She pulled her knees closer against her chest and stared at the floor. completely drained. Then her eyes slowly lifted toward the mirror. And suddenly, a terrifying realization hit her. She could not remember the last time she felt genuinely happy. Not useful. Not responsible. Not needed. Happy. Her breathing became uneven. Because somewhere between trying to become patient, dependable, prayerful, selfless, and good, Naomi had slowly disappeared. Then, a soft knock landed on the bathroom door. "Mom?" Her daughter's sleepy voice. "You're crying again?" Naomi froze instantly. Because suddenly, she realized her pain was no longer invisible. The next morning, Naomi stood before her bathroom mirror carefully applying makeup. Not for beauty. For concealment. She covered the tiredness beneath her eyes skillfully. Then practiced a smile. Once. Twice. 3 times. Until it looked believable again. Downstairs, her daughter quietly watched her from the dining table. "Mom?" Naomi looked up immediately. "Yes, baby?" Her daughter hesitated. Then softly asked, "Why do you always look sad when nobody's looking at you?" The question landed like a knife.
Do you want to know what happened next?
That afternoon, Naomi sat inside her office staring blankly at her computer screen. Unread emails filled the monitor, but her mind was elsewhere. Then suddenly, her phone buzzed. A voice note from her best friend, Miriam. Naomi pressed play absent-mindedly. "Naomi, I don't know how to explain this, but lately when I look at you, you don't feel present anymore." Naomi's fingers slowly tightened around the phone. Miriam continued, "You help everybody, but it feels like you're disappearing emotionally." Silence. Then softly, "I'm worried about you." Naomi quickly stopped the recording. Her chest tightened painfully. Because hearing the truth out loud somehow made it impossible to ignore anymore. Then another message arrived immediately after. From church leadership. "Naomi, we're counting on you this Saturday." She stared at the message. Longer this time. And for the first time, the pressure didn't feel holy anymore. It felt crushing. Saturday evening. Church conference. Crowds. Music. Lights. Responsibilities. Naomi moved through the building, helping everyone, while people praised her constantly. "You're such a blessing. We can always count on you. You're so strong." Each compliment exhausted her more. Then suddenly, someone grabbed her arm near the hallway. It was a young woman from church, crying. "Naomi, how do you stay strong for everybody all the time?" Naomi opened her mouth to answer, but no words came out. Because for the first time, she realized she didn't know anymore. The room suddenly felt hot. Too hot. Her breathing became uneven. The noise around her blurred. Then, without warning, Naomi walked away quickly, straight into the empty church bathroom, locked the door, and finally broke down completely. Naomi cried harder than she had in years. Not graceful tears, not quiet tears. Pain. Raw pain. The kind she had buried beneath responsibility for too long. Then suddenly, She whispered something she immediately felt guilty for saying. "I'm angry." Silence filled the bathroom. Naomi covered her mouth instantly, ashamed. But the words kept coming. "I'm tired of carrying everybody." Tears streamed harder now. "I'm tired of pretending." Her breathing shook violently. Then finally, the deepest truth escaped. Does anybody even see me anymore? Silence. But strangely, for the first time in years, her prayer felt honest.
Later that night, Naomi sat alone inside her parked car outside the church building, emotionally emptied. Then, slowly, her phone rang. Miriam. Naomi almost ignored it, but answered weakly. "Hello?" Miriam's voice was gentle. "Where are you?" Naomi looked toward the glowing church building, then quietly whispered, "I don't think I know who I am anymore." Silence. Then Miriam softly said something that changed everything. "Naomi, being needed is not the same thing as being loved." Naomi stopped breathing for a second, because suddenly, years of exhaustion finally started making sense. And deep inside her, something painful began waking up. The next morning, something unusual happened. Naomi ignored her phone. Not forever, just for 1 hour. 1 single hour. No church messages, no responsibilities, no fixing people, no pretending. She sat quietly near the window holding a cup of untouched tea, while sunlight spilled softly across the room. And for the first time in years, the silence did not feel empty. It felt necessary. Then, slowly, Naomi whispered something she had never allowed herself to say before. "I matter too." Tears filled her eyes instantly. Not because she was healed completely, but because after losing herself for so long, she had finally begun hearing herself again.